Hey there YouTube, this is Elite Master bringing you a video review. Today I'll be taking a look at the 1/24 scale Kotobukiya Hexa gear Rayblade Impulse. This is one of the intro releases into Kotobukiya's new line of model kits, the Hexa gear franchise, which are supposed to be compatible with the frame arms and frame arms girl and the weapon system sets that they've been releasing. And this is the Rayblade Impulse, a cool little cat wolf bike. I'm actually not 100% certain if it's supposed to be a cat or a wolf. It could be either or, whichever one you want. And if anybody remembers the that really old, it's not really even really old anymore, but like that older kind of crappy Dice anime that came out a while ago with dinosaur bikes and other animal bikes. This is kind of like that, only better. Like better used, and unfortunately the locking mechanisms and everything aren't there. But it ends up coming out looking better and feeling better than that ever did anyway. Sorry, I was fiddling with that thing in front of the camera the whole time. But this is the Rayblade Impulse in its bike mode. Figured I'd start here because it's the least interesting of the forms. And it looks really good. The construction on this kit was actually really fun. So different. And there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of armor panels like on the sides here on the arms. Not the arms, the legs in the bike mode. They can actually come off, and the entire front here, what will be the head, can be removed. So you get like a basic unarmored skeletal form. It's very neat. And if you guys want to see that, let me know. I'll make an update video to this. But just with the Rayblade Impulse, all these parts on it, it's really neat looking. And it is packing a little bit of heat. We got a little mortar cannon thing right here and a machine gun, which can pivot up and down, the both of them. And they do have hinges that they can be moved outward, but that's more for its beast mode. Because in this mode, as a bike, it can actually like race forward and shoot, which is really cool. I'll show the governor inside of it in a little bit, but I'm going to address the biggest problem I have with this kit right now, and that is the fact that it has no locking tabs at all in this mode. And this is the first release, so maybe they'll fix that at some point, but this is kind of a huge pain in the ass when you get it into its bike mode. In its beast mode, it's not so bad, because, you know, it's beast. You can move it around, you can have it emote and articulate, but as a bike, that is a huge pain in the ass. Like, you can see here, like there's a curve happening right at this joint, which is a good joint for the beast mode, but in the bike mode, there's no way to lock that in, so it just kind of sits there, and it's a huge pain in my butt, and I don't like it. You can tighten up that joint so it's easier to work with. It's a little loose right now, but as it is, I wanted to show how this kit was out of the box with no modification whatsoever. And a lot of people were wondering if this guy was going to parts form. And I'll tell you right now, the instructions tell you to parts form, and the only things you have to parts form are these bits. But you can do this without parts forming. It's a little hard, but you can do it. Now, a few notable things that are really, really interesting on this kit is that right here, it's not painted, but you can see right here, there is a console of cameras and buttons and cool stuff here for the pilot to actually look into right around here. And this is supposed to be painted like blue and whatnot in the manual, but obviously this is out of the box. I didn't even panel line it yet, but all this amazing detail you can pick out and paint. There's some great detail on the inside parts of the bike. There's a lot of piping and whatnot and doohickeys. And really cool is that the wheels are all rubber. They don't really roll that freely just because of the plastic construction. But if you were to shave down the wheel wells a little bit and make them smoother, you can definitely get some good rolling, like on this one, or on these ones right here. Like these three back wheels, for some reason, roll really well. This last one is really tight, and the front wheel is really tight, but it's because there's a bunch of stuff clamped around here. Now, in this mode, you can store some of the items from the governor here. You can take the sword, and it'll store right there. And it doesn't show you this in the manual, but that's the only thing I found to actually store there. I tried the gun, but I can't seem to get it to work unless you do the handle like that. But then if you saw that, it starts to flex that connector point, that mounting unit, so I don't like doing that. But you can always put the rifle on the governor's back. Speaking of the governor, let's put him on, and then we'll worry about the weapon swords later. So you kind of want to get him into this pose, and he's got stirrups right here, I guess is what you call them, right here where my finger's at. That's where his feet are going to rest. And getting in here has been a little troublesome, but once you get him on, he'll stay on very well. And these ball joints on the hands, I do need to tighten. Like I said in his original review, they were a problem. But, sorry about bumping the camera. You get him like that, and he looks really good sitting in the bike mode right here. And I'm sure you could transform this with him in it. I'm not going to attempt that, because he's just going to get in the way and his hands are going to fall off. But I just want to show you he can ride on it in bike mode. He looks really good. So I'm going to take him off for now. And word of warning for the construction of this guy, be wary of this blue piece, the purple piece I mean, the barrel of the gun, and the tip of this antenna, because those are very fragile and they're very small and thin, and they would be prone to breakage, probably. But anyway, let's get on to the transformation, shall we? Now then, you want to take these front legs and just kind of move them out of the way. And just rotate them out. Like this. You can see there's a joint right here that can swivel around. You just move it out like that. Bring the leg around, rotate the foot. You take this blade thing, put it down like that. Do for the same part for the front. Bring it out. It's a bunch of moving bits around, really. It's less of a transformation, more of just the figure was laying down and now it's standing up. But yeah, you can move that out of the way. There's a lot of articulation in the beast mode. So if you're interested, you can get the dog with a wheelchair mode going on. You know, if you're into that kind of thing. Some people might be. I'm not going to judge. And then you take these bits, and then this inner joint here, you can move it upwards to give it a better silhouette, like so. You can move it out like that. Hope you all saw that. And you can move the wheels upward like this and mess with the foot. And the foot will come down. Just like with the other one, you have to rotate it around on the ball joint. These ball joints, by the way, are pretty loose, so do be careful. And you gotta get it into a nice standing posture. And as you can see, this ball joint is really loose. So I gotta fix that. I'm gonna have to apply some thickening agent to it. And another word of warning, when you're moving these joints, they will have a tendency to pop apart. So just be wary of that. But like with most things on a model kit, you can fix that with some modification. And you get that big badonkadonk. And then the final bits is that you take the head and you can bend it down, move this piece up to be the face, and these parts come out on a double hinge set so that you can angle them and emote them. And there you go, you got the Rayblade in its beast form. And it looks really nice. I love this thing. It looks really cool. I'm gonna tilt the camera here, so be wary. Come on. There we go. Okay, if anybody got motion sickness from that, I'm sorry. But this is the Rayblade, and I love its beast mode. This is the mode I'm going to be displaying it in. And oh, I forgot, but these parts, you take off, and you just rotate them up. Was it up or down? Down. Rotate them down like so. You see they form fit right there. And you can get the governor in here. I'll put him in a minute, but I'm going to show you some of the really cool articulation you got with this guy. Now then, like I said, there's a ball joint right here. Huge pain in the ass. You're going to want to tighten that, because that's how it came out of the box. But we'll start up here at the head. The actual face part of it is on a ball joint. A lot of this kit has some ball joints in it, so be wary. The ball joints aren't that great. The head's on a ball joint. You see it rotates side to side. And it has this really nice clear blue part inside of the face. There's some clear yellow on the actual like console right here too, which makes me a little bummed out that you couldn't put clear green or blue in the command console there. And I like this joint because it looks like he's opening his mouth. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. And like these little ear guns, they can emote, they can move in and out. Now that you got free motion of the double joint in there, so you can move him in and out a little bit, just enough to make it look cool. And they can rotate up and down, and these little ear things can rotate separately. And this bit is on a little wiggling thing. I do recommend you glue that because that falls off constantly, and there's no reason for it to move. And its neck is on a joint that can move up and down, or if you rotate it like so, take that off, like so, you see that inner joint in there moving. I'm blocking it with the light here. Okay, let me try and reposition the light here, so give me a sec. Here we go. So you see that inner joint is the one that you rotate around, and you can get it to do some side to side movement, and it has a really good range in the side to side, so that's great. And then for the forelegs, I'm going to take it apart here at the ball joint right there. This is the one you gotta thicken up. And down here we got joints that can move in and out right here at this engine block looking part. Really nice. There's a joint that can move up and down there, and in and out right there. And then there's a joint at the actual shoulder that can rotate, goes in and out. It has a double joint at the leg here, so it really only goes that far, but you get that double joint action right here. I'm sure that will help in some way. The foot is on a ball joint, so you can get some tilt, and it has a hinge, so you can go forward and back. You can get some really good like running poses out of it. And these things on the sides here, they can move in and out, and they can rotate. And I'll show you those later in a little bit. And while we have them apart, there's that ball joint right here. And you can turn the handles here, which is really nice. But the actual bike seat is on a joint itself that can move up and down. I'll show you that. And it can rotate, so you can get some good motion there. I'm sure you can find something useful out of that. The back joints here, take the leg off. You can see it moves up and down here, and it can swivel back and forth like this, but as you see right there, it is loosening, so you got to be careful with that. I'm sure I could figure out some way to stop it. And they are mirrored, so you do have this weird gappage going on back here, and I can't figure out a way to not have that happen unless you just rotate it like this, which you could do. Actually, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that right now. They're not even anymore, but you can do that. There we go. So you can hide that gap. But as you saw, you got forward and back, up and down like this. This hinge right here can move. And then the leg itself is on a hinge right here. There's a hinge right there at the back of the foot. Leg, I mean. Hinge right here. I wish this was also a hinge, but it doesn't really move, because that would help a lot. Again, more modification can be done there. And the foot, again, is on a ball joint. These are the exact same feet as the front feet, so there's no deviation there. No individual toe articulation, so no fancy things going on there. But let's get this guy back into his full Rayblade mode, form, or whatever. Let's pop them together. And he looks really nice and cohesive. I love the articulation on this guy. I wish the joints were a little sturdier. Like you see there, the ball joints on the legs come off all the time. It's so annoying. But the articulation on this guy is fantastic. You can do a lot with him. And oh, also this antenna can wiggle up and down. Now then, let's show off some cool accessory that he has. I say accessory, because he only has one. But let's put the governor in here. Pop his arms off. His hands off, I mean. So we'll have him pilot this thing. And I gotta say the hands do hold on to the handles really well. It's just the ball joints don't hold on to the freaking sockets all that well, so you gotta do some thickening. A lot of thickening that's gotta go on for this guy. But he has a model kit, so some adjustments are understandable. To put the sword back here and the gun in his back. So now he is armored up. But as you saw earlier, I had these, which are using the point. These are energy effects. You only get the two, fortunately. Oh, I did some bad cleanup on that. And these, whoa, sorry about that. Going unedited, let's go. They go into the blades right here. Kind of like the Liger, the blade Liger. Come on. You just peg in right there. Now it has a melee weapon for like running and slicing like that. And these bits are a little warped. You can fix that with some hot water. But you can do that. You can put, another problem I'll get to in a second. You can put one blade on each side if you want. I wish they'd given you 4 blades, because it looks really dynamic with 2 blades coming off of one side. It would have been cool to have it on both sides. You can have it like this, with the blades jutting out that way, or so forth and so forth. And I do suggest you glue these little blue pieces in right here, because as you saw, they fall off way too damn easily. Like especially when those bits are connected. But we'll leave those off for now. And let me see, right here, lost it for a second. You get a little piece that you can plug in to its butt, right back here. Just plug this right, drop it, right into its butt. Go on the butt. Go on the butt. Okay, Rayblade's not interested in taking it in the butt. But if you use this piece, you see there's a little peg hole right there. You can use this to put them on an action base. However, I have not tried this yet, and I'm scared to. Because from one peg, that's a lot of weight hanging off it like this. I think it'd feel better if there was like a cradle system underneath it that held it up in the air. But what are you going to do? That's what it came with. Also, what it came with was a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of extra Hexa parts. Look at all this. Yeah, a bunch of dual parts, because I'm assuming that these are used throughout all the Hexa gear units. And you just get a ton of them, though. And I'm sure you can, like, come together with a bunch of stuff and figure out something to do with these. Like, make some armatures, make something cool out of it. And I like that. I like that it gives you some options out of the extra parts. Now then, let's close this video off with some size comparison, shall we? Now then, he is rather small, and to point out that problem, here is the HMM Shadow Fox in a similar pose, actually, now that I think about it. And the HMM Shadow Fox is a smaller of these Zords in the 1/72nd scale, I believe. And these kits are great. This kit is great. It's not quite as good as the HMM kits, though. But here's a good scale for you compared to a Zord. Here it is next to a Frame Arms Girl. Good size. Way too small for a Frame Arms Girl to ride. But interesting size all the same. And here it is next to a standard sized Frame Arms. The what is it? The base lard. Move this up. Pretty good size. I like it. The base lard is 1/100 though. And to give you a standardized scale here it is next to a random 1/44 scale model kit. So as you can see, it's not small, but it's not huge, which is good, because I thought this kit was going to be massive and that the little pilot was going to be like maybe half of a HG. But the pilot is tiny, like super tiny, and the actual mount is not that big. It's going to be really nice looking on the shelf. Anyway, final thoughts on this kit. It's really nice. It's very unique. Like I said, it was a unique build, something I'm not used to. Very fun build, gotta say, but also very quick. There's not a whole lot of intricate detail and panel work going on here. Like, a lot of it is assembling a very simple inner frame with a bunch of the Hexa, like, hexagonal parts all over it that you then slap the armor and the bits onto. And really that's it. But as far as a model kit goes, it's really fun. I can't wait to start painting on this kit. It's gonna look great because it has amazing part separation as it is, but I can just imagine like all these little bits and details being picked out with some metallic paint to make it pop. It'll look great. But anyway, this kit is fantastic. If you guys are thinking about picking up a Hexa gear set, I do recommend picking up the Rayblade and the Governor Pawn A1. You kind of have to get one and the other at the same time. I can't imagine it being a very good package without its companion. Like, the Governor is great for how cheap he is, but he's really tiny, and he's going to get lost in your display. And the Rayblade is cool, but he kind of looks incomplete without a rider. So you really need to get both in order to have the full amount of fun with this guy. That being said, this is a really fun set, like I keep saying. I can't wait to pick up the Vorax, I think it was called, the T-Rex looking thing, and the other Governor, can't remember the name of that one, but it looks like it's got a gas mask, sad skull face. Anyway guys, that was my review of the Rayblade Impulse, and I'm giving it a huge thumbs up, and I do highly recommend it to anybody who's interested in it. Like I said, there's a few problems, mainly the ball joints. It's only the ball joints that are causing me a problem here. And also the fact that there's no locking tabs in the bike mode. But the bike mode is kind of secondary here. You really get it for the awesome, like, rideable mecha mount going on. But yeah, he's a fantastic kit. Got mine at HLJ, so check it out. And he's pretty cheap too for a Kotobukiya kit. And that's it. I'll see you all at the next video.